Okay, we are here. We are live with SampleServe Masterclass Wednesdays. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for this little 20-minute segment here that we like to do every Wednesday. And with us, I have the usual Russell Schindler, founder, CEO of SampleServe. He's got about 35 years, going on more than that, I'd say now, in the environmental services industry. And I am Joshua Paul, marketing director for SampleServe. We usually have Paul Goodrow with us, but he's in Butte, Montana right now, right, Russell?
I think he's actually on a plane flying back.
Okay, all right. Somewhere over the flyover, huh?
But yes, he was in Butte.
We'll have him next week, though.
Yep.
So what we usually do here on these Wednesdays is we usually like to pick apart some of the aspects of the environmental services industry, give you updates on certain things, and also give you tips and tricks with the SampleServe platform that'll help your day-to-day activities. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the chat anytime. Even after this video is over, we always skim over and make sure we're not missing any comments or anything like that. And we'll answer any questions as well. And if you know somebody you think this would be helpful to, give this link to them too. This link is always live after this is over. So you can send this YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook link to anybody you think this would apply to. And today we got a little special presentation that we want to give you about the dilemmas for environmental consulting firms to build versus buy. Now, Russell wrote a good article on this about a month and a half ago, and I have that article linked in the chat, so you can go and click on that. It's probably about a 5-minute read, you think?
Yeah.
And it covers, it kind of highlights all the the real dilemmas that companies are facing right now in the build versus buy strategic decision. So, Russell, give me a little what your opinion on the build versus buy strategic decision that companies are facing right now.
Well, obviously, because we are a software company providing software to environmental consulting engineering companies, I'm a little biased. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it's a classic dilemma, and I think the environmental industry is a little bit unusual in that if you just go back a few years, 4, 5, 6 years, there really wasn't any software available that did what we do, right? There just wasn't anything. So at that time, it was either have one or build it or don't have one or build it yourself. So, but as there are companies like SampleServe, and there's some other ones, that do similar things to us. I'm not going to mention their names, but the option of buying is now on the table, whereas 5, 6 years ago it really wasn't. You had to build it yourself. And some of the softwares, including SampleServe, I think ours is the best one out there. But some of them are good. Ours is good. So now buying becomes a lot more viable and feasible. The analogy I would use is, when people are still to this day considering buying or building their own, because they need something, right? Mm-hmm. But they probably also do accounting, and they wouldn't even think about building their own accounting system, right? There's a lot of off-the-shelf accounting software out there that you would use. Either you buy the package and implement it, or it's a subscription model where you just pay a monthly fee. And so the build versus buy scenario, or that question, has evolved over time. And the more options there are to buy, the less likely building your own is, less viable that becomes of building your own. There's a couple other key questions, whether or not you have the talent, right? I mean, a consulting engineering company is typically not going to have a lot of software engineers. Yeah. And as the software world evolves, questions of security, data integrity, making sure that you've got that authentication, that two-factor authentication built into your systems. If you're going to be working on different parts of the world, are you, going to be able to be GDPR compliant, which is the European standard? If you're going to do work in Europe, those are the kind of questions that you need to ask yourself if you're going to be building your own. And then, are you going to be able to maintain it, right? I can tell you what ours cost in terms of building, and what it costs us to just maintain it, to kind of keep things going, pay for the hosting, all that. It's, you know, it's relatively expensive, but we get to spread the cost of all that across all of our customers. Whereas if you're just going to build your own, all those costs are going to be borne by your company alone. So it is expensive, and it's just getting more and more expensive all the time. So
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest drawbacks of building your own is it's the high initial costs. You know, it's going to cost you upwards of, you know, probably
millions.
around 2 to 5, you know, million potentially
Yeah.
to get the software just, you know, ground level ready to go. And then that is also time as well. You know, it
Yeah.
could take you 2 to 3 years to do this as well.
If you want to write, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to maintain it. You have to have that support staff. You have to have those, you know, software engineers on hand at all times to do updates, to, you know, fix bugs and fix all these things. So now you're running a totally separate company almost. You're not just an environmental firm. You're now a software firm as well.
Right.
But the software only works for your business. Now the nice things is that, you know, a company that builds their own, it's customized to everything, the workflow that they have. It's customized to the formats that they have, and a few other advantages. But really, you know, if you can't get your own employees, which we've seen a lot of companies do, build their own software, and then trying to convince their, you know, their workforce to actually use it because they don't like it, you know, that ends up being a lot of sunk costs that, you know, you really can't get back.
Right. Yeah. We've talked to a lot of companies and other, you know, the employees of those companies where the company has their own product. But, you know, candidly and in private, they will tell us that it's not very good and they like ours better. So,
because like you said, back in the day, there was no options, and now there is, you know,
which exactly is right. Exactly right. We, you know, there wasn't anything. So if you knew that automation,
was the future,
would help you, you would build the automation. In fact, if you really want to go back, the reason I started building software when I started SampleServe was because we wanted to solve our own problems, a lot of data management problems, a lot of penmanship issues. You know, it started from, you know, wanting to be able to print labels right at the time of sampling because my penmanship was just horrible, and we would have people complain literally about my penmanship. It's still horrible to this day, but it's not an issue because we print everything. So,
right. Yeah. If you think about it, SampleServe was, you know, did have that decision back in the day. Yep. It was build versus buy. No options were out there to help you in the field or help you plan projects back when SampleServe was an actual, you know, environmental sampling company. Yep. So, you know, we went the build route, and then other, you know, the competition was saying, hey, can we use your software? And that's how we ended up becoming just a strictly software company.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, it was not like I said, I'm a geologist and started SampleServe as a sampling company, and we morphed into a software company as we built the software for our own purposes, and then other people started asking whether or not they could use it. My initial response was, no, I'm not a software company. I'm not going to, you know, build this for my use, so that people would hire us to do sampling. But as I heard that request over and over again, I was like, you know what, maybe we should let people use our software. Right. So that's kind of how we morphed into a software company.
Yeah, pick what you're good at and stick with it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So, you know, I grabbed this pros and cons list from ChatGPT. I just wanted to see what they would come up with. You know, what are the pros and cons of grabbing software off the shelf? And I like this as a great example of, you know, what the common cons are for grabbing software off the shelf. And I want to explain how SampleServe's a little different than most software companies, because it says here, like limited customization. Yeah, that does exist when you're buying software that you don't have control over what exists in that software, all the capabilities of it and everything. And later on, we're going to show you a benefit or customization that we've implemented because our clientele has asked for that.
Yeah, and we've built in flexibility where you can kind of customize your own software to fit your specific needs. So
right.
Yeah.
And then also like ongoing costs, that's a con of you don't have to pay a subscription fee if you built your own software. You don't have to pay for seats. You don't have to pay for licensing fees for access. And with SampleServe, we don't really have any of that. Our business model is per sample. So we don't have seats to buy. We don't have monthly or annual fees. We don't have licensing fees. If you use the app and if you use it a lot, then your bill is going to be a little bit more because there's more samples. And if you don't use it at all, say for like 3 or 4 months, there's no bill because you're not using the app.
Yeah. So we are, and Josh, that's just on the reporting, right? So if you're doing data collection, the mobile field app, the planning tool, to get the samples to the laboratory, that's all free. Not a free trial, it's free forever. You're able to use all the data collection stuff. It'll even export into an Excel file. So you can export that data into other software. We only charge if you want to use the reporting functionality, be able to create the graphics, and that's the only thing we charge for. Everything else is free, and it's based on how many samples you collected. So if we quote you a set amount per price, you collected 10 samples. That month, we're going to charge you whatever price we quoted you times 10, and the price is based on a volume of samples. The prices will range anywhere from $12 at the high end, and we've gone as low as $2 for really large volumes of samples.
Right. Good. Yeah, I was counting on you, Russell, to add that in. Okay. So thank you. So it's very easy getting started with SampleServe too. Quick deployment. That's one of the pros is definitely with SampleServe, quick deployment, because you can literally just go to SampleServe.com, start an account, start uploading your sampling site data, and really you can honestly be out in the field using this within a couple of days, if not by tomorrow.
Yeah. If you were really took the time, you could be out sampling in the field tomorrow. So it's pretty simple and pretty easy to get going. There's online training. It's designed to literally just go to the website, create an account, just start watching our tutorial videos. They're nice, small little videos between 1 and 4 minutes long. Teach you how to use each little section so you can kind of learn as you go. And most people can pick it up in just 3 to 4 hours total. That's front to back, and you can literally get going here in just a matter of a few hours. You can be sampling by tomorrow if you started right now.
Yeah, and I think we covered the build versus buy. From what if anybody really is out there having that dilemma right now, I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to show everybody we've made some form changes, and we've made some more capabilities to forms on our planning tool. So what I want to do is I want to go in here real quick, and I want to show everybody. This is just a sampling event that I set up. We're sampling for BTEX. There's 8 samples here, and I want to show everybody. You can manage forms here on the top right, and this is a list of our pre-populated forms that you can customize yourself. And I want to show you the difference between an event level form and a sample location form. So let's say this is a well-conditioned inspection form right here. And this is going to be a form that you would fill out at each sample location. Obviously a well-conditioned inspection form. So
and what they're usually checking for is to make sure like a flush mount well at a gas station doesn't pose a trip hazard or surface water infiltration problem. So you're just checking the integrity of the well and documenting it so that if there are some issues, people will be able to mobilize later and go out and fix those.
Yeah, and these forms have all kinds of capabilities. This has see, there's a little camera here, so these guys can take a picture of it and document that. There's multiple choice, text, number fields, all kinds of things. And then
it's customizable by the user.
Yeah, you can add a field here. Just click add a field, select the type of field that you'd like to add, give it a name, save it, throw it on there. And then we can add this form to any of these sample locations when we actually turn it on here.
Yeah, you gotta hit save,
And we can just add it to whatever locations that we'd want to. Now there's another level of forms that we've added, and that is an event level form. So we have a tailgate meeting here, and this just has date, notes, and signatures on there. You can add a signature field as well. Now what I can do is I can add any kind of details that we want to add in this form, and we can put this in our event as an event level form so we can fill this out before we start anything in the field. And how you do that is you just go down to the bottom here, event form instructions. So I'm going to give this name, tailgate meeting. I'm going to add a form here. I'm going to pick this tailgate meeting. I'll turn it on and I'll hit save. And now this is saved to this event. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the field app here. We'll make it full screen. I'm going to give this a little refresh, make sure everything's updated on here. So I have this event right here, quarterly sampling Q1. So I'm just going to download this field event real quick. There's it downloaded. Let's open it up. Now we have this tailgate meeting down here. So all you got to do is click on it and you can fill this stuff out. You can add your signatures. I already added my signature earlier, but it's really easy to add your signatures. It's kind of hard on a mouse. You know, these are all customizable, so it doesn't have to be notes. It doesn't have to be date. You can add whatever things you like in here.
Yep.
And then these are easily exportable once you're done. And all this data can be put into, you know, any kind of forms that you guys do, any kind of, you know, reporting that you do in the end.
Yeah, you could have a copy of a, you know, safety plan there, or you can actually embed a copy of the safety plan. And so you can just document all the people who attended that tailgate safety meeting. You can put a, you know, type your name, sign your name, so that everyone, it's documented. It's all in one central database. And so that's really
another
easy
good
to
use of
control.
these event forms that I see people using is equipment checklists, because it's always good to, you know, make sure that you're going out in the field and make, you know, you never want to go out in the field and realize that you don't have an important tool or equipment that you need.
Which I've done.
I know.
But, you know, and actually when I have forgotten a piece of equipment, you know, you get to the site and you're like, darn it, I forgot my water level meter. And it's because I skipped over doing my pre-mob equipment checklist. Where I just little, you know, it was a paper checklist back in the day. But it really helped me remember to bring all the tools that I'll need. And so we've built, you know, incorporated the ability to have that pre-mob checklist. You could add that to that particular event. And so the person, before they would leave the office or leave the, you know, wherever they're mobilizing from, to make sure they got all that correct equipment.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that sums it up pretty well. I mean, that's just an example of one of the, you know, one of the many updates and improvements that we've made to the app through, you know, just talking to our users and asking them. What we do a lot of the times is we'll set up a you know, like a bi-weekly meeting with some of our users, and we'll, you know, every 2 weeks we'll go through and say, hey, what do you like, what do you don't like, and what do you want to see? And within usually either a month or two or maybe even a week, we'll have that implemented.
Yeah.
And they have
we call it our customer discovery meetings. We want to find out, you know, any issues they might be having. And then also everyone's always got ideas they want. And so we actually document every one of them. Somebody gives us a suggestion. We've got this process for documenting the suggestions, and we have a weekly meeting. We prioritize all these new features that people are suggesting, and the ones that are most common get moved to the top. We try and build those things out. And these tailgate safety meetings, this ability to create event level forms is one of the things that kind of rose to the top. And so we built it and added it in.
Right. And don't forget to, you know, if you really want to dig deeper into that build versus buy conversation, click on that link. It's a great article that Russell wrote, and I think you'd find it helpful if you're thinking about the build versus buy for your firm. And I think we hit our 20-minute limit here, Russell. Anything? Right. Any last comments?
No, you know, we're happy to help. Happy to have new customers sign up, and I think one of the things we're kind of have a good reputation for is our customer support and our customer service. So, you know, just sign up with us, and you know, happy to get you going.
All right, we're gonna end it there. Look out for our next one next week, and we'll see you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.